Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us on our annual Cybersecurity Lunch and Learn. With respect to everyone's time, we're going to go ahead and get started right on time right now. My name is Cliff Yount. I'm the Director of Compliance and Operations with Vision Capital. And presenting with me today is Madison Steinbrenner, who manages our compliance, operations, and client service. For this presentation, it's really better to have it interactive. So to benefit myself and Maddie and for everybody participating, if you have questions, we encourage those questions. Please use the chat feature down in the lower portion. If you drag your mouse down below, the chat feature should pop up and you just click on it and go ahead and type a question in there if you have one. If there's an opportune time to jump in and do it in the middle or answer the question in the middle, we will do that. Otherwise, we might wait till the end of the segment. I'm going to be handling the first half of this presentation, and so it might wait until then while Maddie's presenting. If an opportune time comes in to ask a question, we will. Otherwise, we might hold the questions to the end. So again, we encourage everybody to ask questions. It's supposed to be interactive and it benefits us all. So really, let's just skim the surface here. What is cybersecurity? Cyber is anything really that if you can think about your computer at home, laptop, tablet, more and more, these little computers we carry around in our pocket, our phones, they come into play as well. And cybersecurity is basically the actions taken to help prevent attempts to disrupt, damage, or otherwise cause harm to whether it's the typical laptop, tablet, or computer, or your phone. So as we start, remember these pointers. We'll say them over and over, and some of these are very simple, but we can't stress them enough. And we'll say them over and over, but beware of online email and texting trick-or-treaters. Basically, be skeptical. There's no reason to be afraid at all of anything we see or overly hypersensitive, but be skeptical because even through corporate email like ours, as well as personal, there's way too much spam going on. There's way too much phishing. There's way too much suspicious activity going on. And anything we can do to prevent it is what we want to do. Over 80% of this, as the slide says here, 80% of the targeted cyber attacks start with an email and more texts. And how we typically see that is a random email asking you to click on a link, or nowadays text asking you to click on the link. Another thing we'll probably say over and over is if you aren't expecting it and it's something out of the blue, then that's probably something you don't want to pay attention to. And when in doubt, delete the email or text. Don't click or open. Go directly to the source without clicking the link. So that's one of the biggest pieces of advice I give out is there's plenty of times I personally receive emails or texts saying something's wrong or I have to hurry up and do something before something bad happens, or whether it's a late payment or late fee or something like that. I'll just go to bankofamerica.com or healthequity.com or whatever that site is, whoever's contacting me, that's where I'll go. I won't click on the link. That's a convenient thing to do, but honestly, it's one of the most dangerous things we can do because a lot of these cyber criminals have very deep resources because they keep on being funded by people who fall for these scams, and their websites look identical to those websites that are legitimate. So you really want to be careful, and instead of clicking on the hyperlinks that are within the text message or the email, take the extra time and go type in to the browser the website that you need to go to, or the email or text is asking for, if you think it's legitimate. So be extra wary of attachments and hyperlinks. Cyber hygiene, clean desk policy. This is a big corporate thing, but it's also, we encourage it now more and more in everybody's residence, simply because everybody seems to have a laptop computer or work from home, whatever it is. please make sure you keep your critical information away. You never know who might be in the house, whether it's guests, whether it's housekeepers. There's not a lot of break-ins these days. I think that's the old school way to do things, but most of the crooks are doing cyber things these days, and that's why we're having this. So that's that. How do cyber criminals attack? Phishing, spear phishing, smishing, malware. You'll hear all these terminologies. Really it comes down to, again, identifying the email you're receiving, identifying the text you're receiving, and whether it's a PC or your phone, and just looking at it and understanding what it is. There's physical access to unauthorized information versus physical access to unauthorized locations. What we'll focus mostly on today is unauthorized information. And we'll also touch on artificial intelligence, simply because that's seemingly more and more creeping into everything we do. So let's talk a little bit about social engineering, one of the primary sources of cyber attacks. What is social engineering? The use of deception to manipulate individuals into divulging confidential information to be used for fraudulent purposes. That's easy enough, but how does it happen? And that's usually, again, based on the human instincts of trust. We tend to receive emails, receive texts, and take them at face value. We're trusting people and not thinking that most of these things, or a lot of these texts and emails, can have cause harm. But cyber criminals have learned that carefully worded emails, voicemail, text can convince trusting people to transfer money, provide information, or download a file. And again, back to the clean desk policy I just touched on, whether, say, it's a cleaner in your house or a friend in your house, they understand, they look at things, they understand what pulls the triggers for you, and they include that in the email when they go to email you or text you to draw that trust in. Cyber criminals focus on the primary emotions of trust, fear, greed, urgency, helpfulness, and curiosity. All those things are things we all have, and those are the heartstrings they pull on, and all those other strings they pull on. So be knowledgeable about that. So fear is the first one. An example is you receive a voicemail saying you're under investigation for tax fraud and must call immediately. So that first sentence just tells you right there, it's a little fearful, but there's urgency involved as well, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But this tends to pop up around tax season, and cyber criminals prey on the stress and anxiety of people going through tax season. And the two keys there, again, are in the first line: tax fraud, which scares most of us, and you must call immediately. Again, urgency. So that really gets people going, and they use these fears of emotions to trick people into complying with a voicemail. A lot of times when these fear and urgency, they're heightened, and so you kind of aren't thinking with all your other senses. So fear is definitely one of the biggest ones we see. Greed, you see these once in a while, but typically it's a too good to be true, I like to call this. Someone emails you or texts you, I can, for $10, I can, grow it into 10,000 in this instance. The old Publishers Clearinghouse, for those of you who remember that, is the same type of thing to me. There's a lot of scams around that, or, sign up here and, you can win $1 million, or whatever the greed component brings you. It typically is too good to be true. And so if you see anything that seems, whether text or email, too good to be true, again, I don't even waste time with it. There are legitimate contests out there that, if you put your name in there and they draw it, people do win. I don't know what they are because I've never won anything. So that's up to you if you want to take the time. But once it gets into any sort of situation where they ask for any login information, please do not put in your login information. your username, a password. Again, if it's something that you're used to seeing, or a company or an entity that you're used to dealing with, and they're asking for that information, go directly to their website and go through that route, or contact someone through that entity just to make sure it's legitimate. After greed, urgency. We talked about this in the first one with fear. This is a big red flag. The fear is a big red flag. The urgency is a big red flag if you receive a voicemail, email, or text. But typically they say you need to act quickly. They want you frazzled. They're trying to get you to do something really fast. Again, that loses all your other senses. You aren't thinking about common sense and everything else. You're just hurrying up. One of the ones we saw with urgency and fear both several years ago appear, that's still prevalent today, is they call it the grandparent scam. Sorry, Maddie, if I can't remember if we deleted that slide or you jump into it later, but that is a common one that really harps on fear and urgency. You need to, and it's either a call with AI these days, it could be an email, but more often it's a text message. Grandma and grandpa, I'm stuck on the side of the road. I need, $500, or I just got thrown in jail. I didn't do anything, but I need bail money. Click on this link, and they say they'll let me go. And if you're a grandparent, you understand how powerful that can be. And it's very scary, and it's very urgent. And so what happens is the unsuspecting grandparents, of course, all they want to do is do something great for their grandchild, and all their other senses go out the window. And they just click on the link, or they'll ask them a bland question to where they'll get a response of what a kid should say or might say. But a lot of times they don't verify it's really that grandchild. And what happens is you end up clicking on the link and sending money. Basically, it's usually dealing with Bitcoin. And it's totally fraudulent, and then you're aced out of a bunch of money. So urgency is a really big one. Helpfulness, again, back to the human nature of things. In general, I think we do all just trust others. And when we trust others, we tend to trust an email because it's black and white. We can't tell, how this person is really talking, or, what this person is really like. But email, text, we take it black and white, and we just assume that it's legitimate. But again, if we can urge you to have a skeptical eye, that's the first step. And so helpfulness, we want to help. And so when people text or email asking, for something, we tend to want to help, and then we can get in a dialogue with whoever this cyber criminal is. And of course, they always try to say the things that you want to hear to get you down the road of eventually giving up money. This helpfulness example is more of an employee corporate one. And this has happened. We've seen it before, to where a manager, requests something. I think I've personally seen it 2 or 3 times here at Vision Capital, where we receive an email from someone who claims to be within the company, asking someone to do something. And this is we'll get to spoofing here in a minute, but what spoofing is basically, when you look at the top line of who's sending that email or text, it will say Cliff Yount, but underneath, when you dig down a little bit, you'll see it's coming from James Bearded Man at gmail.com, or some weird email that's clearly not Cliff. And so what they're trying to do is get you to respond. And what we've had before is emails that have come to me personally, and others that are from others that looks like in our firm. It will say Maddy Steinbrenner or Sarah Quist to Cliff Yount. Hey, I need this payroll information, or I need this information. Can you give me this login information? I left it at home. But if I look a little further down and dig a little deeper, because it is an odd request, and we're highly trained here to be skeptical, I realize that this is coming from a fake email. It's not really Sarah or Maddie. But in general, those are helpful things that I would love to do. And Sarah's on the road helping clients, and oh, here you go, I need to help her out. But again, be skeptical and understand that that's the spoofing of the names, and helpfulness is one of those senses we have to be careful of. Curiosity, cyber criminals pay attention to current events, what's going on in the news. Uh, this example has been here for a few years, but back when the Boeing Max 8 plane crashes were going on, cyber criminals sent emails out with attachment and claimed to have inside information, leaked information. And they always say curiosity kills the cat, right? And this is an example of a situation where, there's curious people out there and they know that. And they feel that there's going to be people out there who, hey, this isn't supposed to come to me, but hey, I want to peek. I want to see what's in there that no one else knows. And they click on the attachment. And as they do that, that attachment loads some malware on their device, and the damage is already done. So that pretty much covers it for social engineering malware. Again, it's just a short term for malicious software. And that includes all kinds of basically viruses and worms, bad things that are loaded onto your device. And again, when I'm saying device, that could be a computer, laptop, tablet, phone these days, any type of device that can connect to the internet and email. That has an ability to have malware loaded onto it. And basically what malware does is it sits in your system. Sometimes there's immediate action. Sometimes they can hibernate and last 6 months or a year, and then they open up because they don't want them to be detected. So then it opens up and it searches your whole computer or tablet or phone and pulls all the information that malware is loaded to take. And so it's very damaging. It can block key access to components, but the blocking and taking of information is typically the primary goal of malware. Sometimes it can just disrupt things and just blow things up. We're seeing less and less of that. It's more valuable to these cyber criminals to actually pull information and have that information to sell on the black market, or block access and then go back to the whole fear and urgency piece of social engineering to let you know that, hey, listen, guess what? I have information on you and it's not good. And I'm going to tell the rest of the world or your family unless you click on this link and give me this. I think for most normal people, we understand that that's, illegitimate. That's not good. It doesn't matter. Delete. But there's plenty of people sit there and think, oh no, what did I do? I mean, what's out there? I mean, I don't know what it is. And with AI these days, I mean, there's a lot of people who are really worried about that kind of stuff, and then they might go down the path and end up, paying. So again, be skeptical. Those are typically illegitimate. They typically don't have information on you. They're just trying to get you to bite. So let's see. Strongly worded messages. That's true. That's kind of what I was talking about. Tell a victim it's been installed on their computer, and they'll remove malware if they pay a fee. That's kind of what I was alluding to. A lot of times they'll say they have information on you, and this has happened at the government level too, right? I mean, the governments and large corporations have been. This malware has spread, and they basically have a hold of their books or certain files that they can't proceed without. And once they have those, they basically have to pay a fee. And so it's that old conundrum. I mean, do you pay a fee and encourage these guys to keep on going? There's been most companies. I would say 70% of companies actually pay the fee so they don't interrupt business operations. But there are plenty who have also said, no way, we aren't giving them a dime. We're going to recreate all this stuff, which, is typically a long and involved process. So the dormant malware, last bullet there, hibernates. I touched on that in the last slide a little bit, that's almost a scarier one. And a reason to have antivirus malware software, because that can catch dormant malware. Unfortunately, there is malware out there that can be dormant that isn't caught by those, but those are more rare than a lot of the phishing and the links that we're talking about. Don't click on links, email, text. Those are the very common things that can get all of us in hot water. So here we go. So we're going to talk a little bit about phishing, not the phishing with the fun phishing with an F. It's the phishing with a PH. That's a practice of sending that email that appears to come from a reputable source. And we're going to focus on this a lot. Maddie's going to talk about some examples. This is really, if we can hit anything home and remind you, those of you who have been on this presentation before, the reason we leave a lot of this information is it's just repetition. We need to hammer this stuff home. Hopefully everybody really hears it, talks to their friends and neighbors about it, family. Hopefully they engage in these conversations, because we have these conversations at work all the time. We will send emails if we receive one out to the whole firm, just to keep everybody apprised that this stuff's still going on. Here's an example. And it's really dangerous, because if you get lulled into a sense of security and suddenly just click on a link just because you think it's coming from Cliff, you really have to be careful. You have to look at the email or text as a whole, including timing. Are people expecting an email from me? Is it midnight when I'm sending it? Are my words spelled correctly? Maddie will show you some examples of that. I think we've all seen, hopefully, examples of emails that are clearly spam and phishing attempts, but they're getting better and better. And so we still have to really look at the request, what it is as a whole, the timing. Am I expecting anything? That's the big one I always ask. And so phishing is basically the practice of sending fraudulent emails that appear to come from Cliff. It'll say Cliff Yount at top, and then it'll have a bunch of information. And spoofed email, if you look below where it says Cliff Yount, I mean, depends on what email you have, whether it's Gmail or Comcast, Yahoo, whether it's text. Everything's a little different, but you should be able to kind of drill down and make sure it's really from cliff@bcmi.net. And again, if it's a timing situation, is it really something I'm expecting? Those are some key questions. So phishing emails and texts, again, another terminology here that no one needs to remember, but they call that smishing. It's the same thing. It's the attempt to get you to click on a link or provide information, whether it's email or whether it's text. That's the overall goal, and they're trying to pretend that it's coming from Cliff or coming from Vision Capital or coming. And sometimes it's pretty generic, and they know they'll just catch people off guard. But it might be bigger, like CVS or Walgreens, something like that. So you just have to be very careful. Phishing attempts here that we point out, say they've noticed suspicious activity or login attempts on your account. That's an email that will, again, there's a little fear right there. It's like, what's going on? Who's been having suspicious activity or trying to log into my account? If you receive an email that's saying that, delete it, because someone would have to have access to your computer in order to say something like that. And if someone has access to your computer that you don't know about, that's a problem too. But usually they don't. They're just sending that email out of fear and hoping you click on something or call a number. I keep on saying click on a link, but there still are numbers out there that they'll provide and are legitimately, illegitimate people to call. It might be an email or text claiming there's a problem with your account or payment information. We see that a lot. So whether it's your bank, whether it's maybe Amazon's huge. They always try to combat it, but Amazon's obviously one of the biggest retailers. So we see that a lot. So if you see something from Amazon claiming there's a problem with your account or payment information, be very careful. Again, go type in Amazon.com and then go that direction. If you need to chat, they have a chat feature there. It's hard to find phone numbers a lot of times with places like that. I've tried, but there's typically a chat or an email you can send to And trust me, no one's going to jail or paying $100,000 fine if you don't respond within, a week or two. So don't let time, the fear of time, be an issue, or urgency, as we discussed earlier. Um, Another really tricky one is requesting to update personal information. That's very dangerous, because you might go to, say, Regents is your healthcare provider, and you go to and you're just assuming that's what it's requesting, and you click on the link, and the minute you start providing critical PII, personal identifiable information, what we call it in an industry, social security number, date of birth, address, all those things, suddenly they have a lot of information, the crooks do, that you don't want them to have. So again, that's always good to know if there's something that needs to be updated. But if it comes from Regents, again, do not click on any hyperlinks or links within the email or text. Go to regents.com, open your portal, and go that way as well. That goes for Vision Capital as well. Vision Capital, I think Maddie's probably, she might even have a slide on it, I can't remember. We use third-party Tamarack portfolio accounting software, and the portals that you guys have are awesome. They just updated them. I know she's going to touch base on that. But the communication tool that is required to be used is the emails that are sent and received do look suspicious. And they look like spam, to be honest with you. And so that's an easy thing for cyber criminals to pick up on and to duplicate. So anytime you receive an email from us, or if you receive a text from a client relationship manager, if there's a link, I encourage you, don't click it. That's again a quick, convenient way, but it's just as easy to go to your portal and log into your portal separately, as opposed to clicking on a link. So we're no different than anybody else. Be skeptical. Fake invoices, you'll see that in texts and emails. I see them all the time. It's one of those things that here's Vision Capital, and has all the information, looks legit. This is late, 60 days overdue, and it's like, wait a minute. Luckily, we have a tight ship. We know what we're spending money on, and it's like, we don't even do business with these guys. Or if we do, I always verify that the payment instructions are accurate. Otherwise, if it's off, that means it's a scam. Again, it tends to take a lot of legwork on our part, unfortunately. When I say our part, all of our parts, whether it's here at work or at home, but that's how we keep out of these issues. Another one is ask you to click on a link to make a payment. You'll see those emails and texts all the time. A lot of them are legit. Again, I encourage you, that's fine if you know a payment's due. If you don't, then be very skeptical. But if you do, type it in the browser yourself. Go to regents.com, open your portal, and go through the payment that way. Ones we'll see is claims you're eligible to sign up for a government refund, or offer a coupon for free goods or services. Again, both of those to me are trust. It's like, oh, great, I can sign up for a government refund or free goods and services. Who doesn't want that? However, again, it's that trust component. Be skeptical. Well, likely it's not legitimate. So, all right, moving on. I need to speed up here. I got Maddie to go. Some other phishing attempts. You should never click on the links provided in emails. We talked about that. You can't independently confirm. That is important. And the sender may seem legitimate. We talked about that. No reputable institution, and this is really important, no reputable institution will ask you for your password or other key personal information online. We talked about phishing emails tend to contain typos, grammatical errors, something looks off, as well as the email should, if you're able to drill down to it, the actual email should appear and be illegitimate or not who you think it's coming from. But I just want to circle back to the piece about the passwords, key personal information online. We will never ask for that. We will never ask for that over email. That's information that you and your client relationship manager discuss verbally. and we've instituted a policy as well that, and we've done this, you know, Maddie implemented this, and this is a great policy to have. We implemented this in our family. We have a pretty big extended family. A couple months ago, my mother-in-law was asking, hey, we were talking about the grandparent scam, and she's like, how do I know if it's really you, or, you know, because I want to help. And so our family as a whole came up with a keyword that everybody was there, and everybody understood that, you know, if there's ever a situation, and it goes beyond cybersecurity, but this is a lot of it. But if there's ever a situation and we aren't sure who we're talking to, and we want to verify, understand we have a keyword, and that's very important. You'll see that more and more. And again, phishing emails are often rife with typos, grammatical errors. And so, yeah, just look out for that kind of stuff. And so here we are on to Maddie.
Yes, thank you, Cliff. We actually have quite a few questions, so I'm just going to run through a couple of them really quickly. So someone asked, sometimes I can't see what the email is about without opening it. Is it not safe to open an email without clicking on any links? So it's safe to open the email. Just the biggest thing is not to click on any links. Don't open any attachments. But yes, clicking on the email is fine. I wouldn't reply. I would delete it right away, so you don't accidentally, inadvertently click on the link within the body of the email. The next question is about the differences between Windows 10 and Windows 11, and if you should upgrade to Windows 11, because there will also be a Windows 12 available next fall. I'm always on the cautious side. I would go ahead and upgrade to Windows 11. I don't know the specifics about the Windows security features and the difference between them. But I think I did see that if you don't upgrade from Windows 10, then all your security features will be gone by late October, I believe. So I definitely would do that. Always be on the latest security update if possible. The next one asks if we can talk about home title theft. They're seeing a lot of commercials about this, and also how to protect your bank card and someone draining your checking account. So home title theft, I'm assuming someone is trying to forge your signature and transfer a property to themselves. I think this is a really, I don't think this is a very common scam because it's super hard to do. I think the most important thing is that you're not giving any personal identifiable information, so your PII, social security number, date of birth, out, or any bank details, bank information. And that sort of goes into the question about the bank card. Don't give any financial bank information over the phone to an unsolicited or unwarranted call. I think that's the best way you can protect yourself, is just having awareness, making sure you're not giving out personal information. Do you have anything to add to those, Cliff?
Yes. So the only thing I had, the home title theft piece, what we did see there for a while was more along the lines of, you know, whether it's escrow money or, you know, funds themselves being wired, you know, to a different spot. And again, what was happening was people, clients who were selling their house, were receiving emails, and they thought it was from their trust company. They gave him the bank information, and it really wasn't the trust company. And then they released it, and it went to the wrong, you know, obviously the criminals' accounts. And so that information again shouldn't be given over email or text. Again, have the verbal conversations with your professional people you're dealing with.
Perfect. Okay, I'm now going to go through some examples of common phishing and spoofing attacks. Like Cliff mentioned, phishing is the leading cause of all data breaches, and it's usually due to lack of user awareness and training. So hopefully these next couple examples we go through give you a solid foundation of common red flags to look out for. Usually cyber criminals are trying to get you to click on a link or open an attachment, and they're trying to collect your PII, or your personal identifiable information. So like I mentioned before, your social security. So I'm just going to go through this email again. Sorry, everyone. Some technical difficulties. This email I received from Sue McGrath. Um, as it pulled up into my contacts, it didn't trigger any red flags for me because it just shows Sue McGrath. So I thought, fine, great. And then I went into the body of the email and I saw the words urgent request. So that automatically had me paranoid. Anytime you see the words urgent request, that should automatically make you hesitate because scammers are trying to get you to act out of fear. So then that made me look at the from email address, which Cliff has mentioned a couple of times before as well. Legal advocate 1976. I know 100% that that's not Sue, so I can delete that one. So this next one is an example of the fake invoice example that Cliff was talking about. The first email is from my colleague, John Labarca. Quote unquote, to this Mark guy asking him to send the invoice to our company's accounting email. So then he forwards this email to our company accounting email asking us to pay about $48,000. He's also saying that if we complete this by a certain date, then we'll get a 30% discount. So two red flags there. They're asking for money and they're trying to create a sense of urgency. Third red flag, I go back and look at John's email address. I know that's not John's email address because his email doesn't include his last name. So that's another example. And most importantly, I definitely do not want to click on the invoices and I don't want to even engage with these people. So the next example is, let's see here. Cliff, can you move to the next slide, please? Thank you. So this is a fake DocuSign email that we warned about in our October newsletter, but I wanted to show you all the example as well. If you look at the from email address, there's so many letters and numbers in it. It doesn't even fit within the screenshot. So that's red flag number one. Red flag number two is in the subject line. It also has a bunch of letters and email and letters. So that's another thing to take a look at. Legitimate DocuSign emails will come from a @docusign.net email address. So always just keep that in mind. And even if you do receive a legitimate DocuSign email, I would still reach out to whatever company is asking you to DocuSign something to confirm it's legitimate. Just because there's links and with DocuSign, there's no way for you to log in otherwise. I know if you call us at Vision Capital and confirm with your client relationship manager, we love it when people confirm because it really means that you're being cautious and careful. So yes, on the next slide, I believe yes, so this is an email that you would get from our Vision Capital client portal, notifying you of a document being posted to your client portal. And as Cliff mentioned, we do get a lot of questions about if this is a legitimate email or not. So it is legitimate, but it's great to be cautious. And like Cliff said, it's easy to spoof these types of emails. So I would honestly never click on this link in this email. I would go directly to our Vision Capital management webpage, and you can just Google vcmi.net and it will pull up. And then on our top ribbon bar, there's a client portal button that you can click that will take you straight to our client portal. So that's always the safest route to go. Yet again, and I hope this is the main message that we send, is never click on links in an email unless you 100% know the source and that it's legitimate. Okay, the next slide, I'm going to talk about common voice phishing scams. So with AI, this is even easier to do for hackers. And because of voice impersonation. So the first one, a family member needs help. This is really common. They're trying to get you to act out of sense of fear. They'll try to impersonate a loved one saying that they need some type of financial help. And we're going to go over a specific example in the next slide. The next one, IRS needs your social security number, another really common one. They usually are calling, wanting you to confirm your social security number. So this next one, grandparent scam. So this is the most common type of voice phishing scam, which we were talking about earlier as well. A grandchild or a loved one or a friend or whoever might call you saying that they need financial help because they are in an urgent situation, and you need to give them money, pretty much. Even if you recognize that person's voice, please hang up. You should then go to your contacts in your phone, find that person, and call them from your contacts. Don't call them from your recent call log history because obviously that's the scammer's phone number. And make sure that you confirm the story with the contact individual. And then also, I would ask a specific memory or maybe a pet name or something that's not online or is on social media, just so you can confirm that that person is legitimate. Um, I would also set up a code word for family emergencies and make sure that you just don't put that in text or email. You never want it in writing because scammers can now get that information. So this is a local scam the Multnomah County Sheriff's Office is warning of, and it has happened to some of my colleagues here and other people I know. Scammers are calling and impersonating sergeants and deputies, giving fake badge numbers and fake case numbers, saying that there's a warrant out for your arrest, and that or you need to pay a court fine, or you've missed jury duty, and if you don't pay a court fine, or if you don't pay a fine, then you're going to be arrested. Please know that Multnomah County Sheriff's Office will never conduct matters like this over the phone. So please hang up. Do not give any type of financial or personal information to these people. So on the next slide, this is two common examples of SMS or text phishing or smishing. This first screenshot is a really common one with claiming to be USPS. They can't deliver my package because I have an incorrect address. So they're asking me to provide an updated address by clicking on a link. So I'm not going to click on the link. I'm not going to reply. I'm going to delete this right away. Another red flag is legitimate USPS text message come from a special 5-digit code number. They don't come from a normal phone number like this. And also, if you are ever unsure if this is a legitimate scam or if this is real or not, you can just Google the scam. So I Googled USPS text scam, and it sent me directly to the USPS website where they warned about this specific scam. So I think many companies are aware of impersonations and scams, and so they do notify customers. This second screenshot is a scammer impersonating Bank of America saying I have a $638 transaction attempt to this LLC I've never heard of. I know this is a scam because one, I don't bank with Bank of America, and two, I mean, if you did and you weren't sure, just log into your Bank of America account through the website, go to your most recent statement. You can find usually a customer service call phone number on there that you can call, or it could be on your credit card or your or your debit card with the phone number. Definitely don't call the number that they provided there. Okay, the next one is an example of a scammer impersonating a company, and they are saying that we've won $100, which should automatically make you second guess something because usually if you're winning money or a prize, it is too good to be true. Also, a huge other red flag is the obvious spelling uh, error in the subject line. So sometimes they do make it really obvious, but pretty much the scammer here was trying to get you to believe you won money, and then you're going to click on a link so that you can fill in all your bank information, and then now they have your bank details. Okay, next slide. Yes. Sorry. Other fraudulent scams. Wait, Cliff, actually, I don't think we can see the PowerPoint. I will just sort of go ahead and he can put that up. So other fraudulent scams, scareware is a really big significant cybersecurity threat because it does use psychological manipulation. It makes you to try and act out of fear and to trick users into buying unnecessary software. Pretty much you'll get a bunch of pop-ups and even alerts that you have multiple viruses or malware that's your computer has been infected with, and they're trying to get you to buy some um, unnecessary fake antivirus software. So, if you do this, then they will not only have your bank information, they will also probably have access to your computer. So, really make sure that you're only buying reputable antivirus software. Hey, Cliff, we can't see the PowerPoint. Sorry. Um, so only buy from reputable brands like Norton, McAfee, uh, Bite Defender, I believe, is one. But you can do your own research on what pros and cons you want. The big thing is also to make sure that you are staying updated on your software upgrades, because if you don't, then you're most likely not protecting your computer at all, and you won't be able to reduce your system's vulnerabilities. Tech support scams. So I just want to reiterate, if you do get a pop-up on your computer claiming of a virus or multiple viruses, do not click on it. Also, if someone calls claiming they are from Microsoft or Apple and they got an alert that your device has been compromised, please hang up right away. And lastly, never give remote access or pay for unnecessary software. Some common signs of your computer actually having a virus or malware on it are your computer being noticeably slower or freezing up, or you're constantly having your system shut down and restart unwarranted, um, or your antivirus or firewall has been disabled, or on your web browser, if your home page has changed, or if your files are going missing or corrupt. So if any of those things are happening to you, then reach out to an IT specialist. Okay, next, some other online financial scams, Social Security fraud. So we talked about this numerous times. Scammers claim that your identity was stolen and ask for your Social Security number. Don't give Government officials will never conduct business via mail or via phone call unwarranted. So make sure that you're just not answering to these types of requests. We talked about scammers may pose as banks or debt collectors or investors, and they're trying to steal your financial information. Another big one is fake nonprofit donation requests. So people who are donating to a charity, make sure that you go directly to their website and you're getting instructions there. So you're getting the check instructions there, or the ACH instructions, or the wire instructions. It's also important that you verify the tax exempt status of a charity, and you can use an IRS tool for that to confirm the legitimacy of the charity. Next is we're talking about artificial intelligence, which is the big topic of 2025. And with the sophistication of AI now, it's really hard to identify these types of scams, because scammers are really making every phishing attack very personalized. They're doing fake websites, deep fake video and audio. Um, so just be aware, be cautious. Some um, ways to mitigate this is to watch out for any jerky movements on video or robotic speech, or any unusual behavior, like the common red flags that we also see with phishing, urgent requests, requests for money, anything that's sort of out of the norm. And also be cautious of what you're posting online and on social media. I saw that scammers only need a 3-second video clip of you or a 3-second clip of your voice to impersonate you. So even your voicemail greeting, if you can, I would change it to a robotic greeting so they can't impersonate your voice. Okay, so now that you're aware of what to look out for and the chance that you are victim to a cybercrime, here are the things that you should do. First, you want to isolate the affected device and stop the virus or malware from spreading. So immediately disconnect the device from Wi-Fi network. And if you can, restart your computer in what's called safe mode. Then you would run a full antivirus software scan to detect and remove any viruses or malware. And once you've done that scan, copy any important files that you have over to a clean storage device. If you have completed all of the above and your device is operating normal, you're most likely in the clear. But if the virus is preventing you from doing normal operating functions, then you most likely will need a full system replacement and you will need to contact an IT specialist. Now, I would only recommend doing these steps if you are pretty well versed in computers. If not, my recommendation would be leave your computer as is. Don't touch anything until you've contacted a specialist or a professional in the field, because you could make the virus worse. You should assume that all your accounts have been compromised, so you should change your passwords immediately and preferably from a different device. So if you think your computer was compromised, you should do it from your phone. All your passwords should be long and unique, so a different password for every single login. It's really important. Make sure your multi-factor authentication is enabled on your accounts that offer it. That's just another added layer of security. Usually you'll get a text message with a PIN number. Um, and if you can, make sure you're keeping documentation of what's happened. So screenshots, save all the emails, save all the texts, because you might need to provide these to law enforcement. If warranted, you should contact your bank and credit card companies. Also, contact us, Vision Capital. We can freeze your custodian accounts to make sure that nothing is going out of your account. Freeze your credit. You can also place fraud alerts with the big three, which I think are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So you'll get alerts on any activity. And monitor your credit reports, your bank accounts, your credit card statements. You should be doing that regularly anyways, but definitely if you think you've been victimized. Um, if you are wanting to report these crimes, you can report to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center at ic3.gov. If you believe your social security number or you have any type of identity theft, you can go to the Federal Trade Commission's website at identitytheft.gov, and they will provide you with a recovery plan. Also, you should reach out to the IRS and the Social Security Administration. And like I mentioned, reach out to your local law enforcement to see if there's any action they can take and just make sure to provide that documentation. Okay, so how to limit your risk. So these are just some of the things you can do. There's a lot more, but these are the really important things. And these are things we've mentioned multiple times. So it's just, I'll go through it quickly. Enable multi-factor authentication on your accounts. Use lengthy and unique passwords for each account. So I know this is harder to manage, but there are password managers out there, and they not only will help you create unique passwords, they also store them securely. And so some of the big ones are Dashlane, StickyPass, NordPass, KeyPass. So like the antivirus software, any reputable brand really works. Use VPN on public Wi-Fi. If you don't have a VPN, then just don't do anything with your bank account or your custodian accounts or anything sensitive on public Wi-Fi. It's easy for hackers to hack public Wi-Fi. That being said, also secure your Wi-Fi network at home. So the biggest thing is to change the default login credentials for your home Wi-Fi. You can also enable WPA3 and WPA2 encryption, which you can do through your provider. So I have Comcast, and if you just go to xfinity.com, you can switch that setting on. Also, you can create a guest network for your guests so they're not using your private network. Like I mentioned before, always just exercise vigilance with your online presence. Really limit what you're sharing. If you can, private your account. And just try not to post anything that a scammer or hacker could use against you. Let unknown calls or spam calls go to voicemail. So this is something that scammers are doing, is if you do pick up a scam call and you say, "Hi, this is Madison Steinbrenner," they will record that and use that to impersonate your voice. So if you do get an unknown call, just don't pick up, let it go to voicemail, or pick up, but just don't say anything, let the caller speak first. There are identity theft protection, I'm sorry, identity theft protection services like LifeLock or NordProtect. These will just monitor your credit. They'll send you any alerts about potential fraud. I know a couple of people that use them and they're really good. The biggest takeaway, again, don't click on any links, especially from individuals you don't know. So what we're doing here at Vision Capital, We really want to encourage you all to continue to stay educated. This is a great step in attending these seminars. And also share your experiences with your loved ones, and they might share something back with you. We are activating code words with our clients. So anytime you get a distribution request, or you have a distribution request, expect your client relationship manager to be reaching out to you to request that code word. Also, we do want to warn with our YouTube videos, obviously it's easy to impersonate our voice. So just know Vision Capital will never call and ask you for payment or tell you to transfer partial or all of your account to an unrecognizable account or request your login credentials or anything like that. Some common questions that we get a lot: if someone is calling from a bank or another place I conduct business asking to verify PII, how do I confirm the request is legitimate? So you can't confirm it. I would definitely hang up right away. Return the call to a known phone number. So if they're claiming to be from Bank of America, like I said, go to Bank of America, go to your bank statement and get the number off there. Um, and that goes for Vision Capital as well. You can call your CRM directly. Um, yeah, antivirus or malware software brand recommendations. Only use reputable brands. So Norton, Malwarebytes, Byte Defender. Biggest things, make sure you're keeping up with the updates. Firewall recommendations. The difference between antivirus software will detect and remove any viruses or malware that's on your computer. Firewall recommendations are pretty much, they're acting as a barrier. They're monitoring any incoming and outgoing data. And a lot of companies will have bundles with antivirus software, firewall, and VPN, and some other security features. I know Norton 360 and Byte Defender are offering those right now. So just do your research and look at the product descriptions for that. And then password protectors, as I mentioned, Dashlane, Sticky Password, NordPass, those are all great ones. So as we finish, I just want to, we don't want to make anyone be fearful, but we do want you to be cautious. And these are the big things. Be skeptical of everything. If you don't know where a text or a phone call is coming from, delete it, hang up, and reach out to someone, a contact that you know. Verify directly. So like I said, reach out to a contact, go to the website and get the phone number there. Protect your devices. So always keep your devices updated with the latest software if you have antivirus software. Use strong passwords. So store all your passwords in your password manager. Make sure you have your unique and lengthy passwords. Guard your personal information. So never give out your PII to an unwarranted or unsolicited call. And make sure 100% it's legitimate before you're providing this type of information anytime it's not in person. Stay informed, talk to all your loved ones about your experiences, and physical security. Maintain a clean desk. The biggest thing that we want you to take away, again, be wary of links and hyperlinks. Never click on them. So we have reached the Q&A portion. Let's see. Are there any? Cliff, are you there? Are there any questions? Okay, he's gonna come in. Okay. Will slides be available after the call? Yes, we are recording this, so the slides we can provide, and we will also provide the recording of this presentation. I don't see any other questions, but if you do have a question, please feel free to reach out to Cliff or I, and we will get back to you as soon as we possibly can. And yeah, thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate it. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties, but thank you so much for hanging in there. Thank you guys. Have a good rest of your day.